Do you want to build a massive email marketing list? Well, of course you do, right? Because it's through that email marketing list that you're going to sell more of your courses, more of your memberships, and get more people enrolled into your programs. And so on today's episode, I'm going to share with you how I built a massive email list and how you can too using live stream video. That's right, folks. Stay tuned. It's the business of live video. And I'm your host, Owen Video. That's right. You can give me 5. That's right. Type 5. If you're, can I try that again? This is my own tagline, and I messed it up. Let me try that one more time. Hey, everybody, welcome back to the show. I'm Owen Video. You can give me 5. That's right. Type 5 in the comment section. Now, that is how we say hello on this show. And remember, if you're new, type new so that we can reach out to you and get a chance to know who you are. And remember, you can always jump ahead to the 10-minute mark if you want to dive right into the content. Otherwise, I hope that you'll stick around. We're going to say hello to our live viewers. We're going to field some questions, kind of find out the pulse of what's happening in the live video email marketing list arena. So I hope you'll stick around because we're going to get started by giving away some free gear. Let's give away some stuff, folks, right now. That's what I'm saying. This month, we are giving away this Rode PodMic cardioid microphone. This microphone is perfect for live streaming right at your desk and has a built-in internal pop filter so you get the best sound even if you stutter all the way through your promotional segment. It also comes with its own desktop stand that can attach virtually anywhere and features its own shock mount to reduce vibration. So that's pretty cool. It's normally $100 online, but you can get this mic for free. What? Did you say free? That's right. You can get this mic for free. All you have to do is go to epiclivevideo.com and start a free account with Restream. It's not even a free trial, folks. It's an actual free account. And we want to thank our friends over at Restream for providing this for us. And if you're going to be building an email list with live video, if you're going to want to do webinars, if you want to grow your entrepreneurial business, then you're going to want to get Restream. It's loaded with tons of cool features and works with all your favorite softwares. You can broadcast simultaneously on up to 250 different websites. Plus, you get this built-in studio that's perfect for video podcast recording. You can invite people to come onto the show with you. Plus, you can use these overlay graphics, and you get these robust analytics to see what's actually working on your show. You can get started for free. That's right. It's not even a free trial. It's like a free account that can do all the things. Just go to epiclivevideo.com. That's epiclivevideo.com. And when you do, you'll be entered to win our contest. Hey, we want to welcome those of you guys that are watching us today on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and across the live streaming globe. I'm going to go over there and say hello to our friends, starting with Carlos Zepeda in the house. Air 5 to you, my friend. Glad you're here. Teresa and Thomas, my sister from another Mr. Gadget Gecko, weighing in with the Air 5. Glad to see you here today. And we've got Chris Derboven here from Belgium. Chris, I'm glad you're here. You know, when you're here, Chris, it makes us international. It does. It makes us an international show. Consistent Ash is here, along with David is in the house. Lincoln here, the psychedelic, and my good friend Kathy Jung logging in. You know, Kathy and I go way back. She's actually in the video marketing school with me, and I would even say like we're kind of like internet fam. We're kind of like Facebook fam. You know, people that are not they're more than friends. And you've never even met them in real life. Kathy fits one of those people. So we welcome you. Glad you guys are here to the show. We're going to be talking about how to build your email list. And I've got a question for you as we get started in today's content. Have you started building your email list? Why or why not? Let me know in the comment section. Why or why not have you started building your email list? I'll tell you my experience is that I began building my email list right away when I started in, the entrepreneurial world. And that has paid dividends in my future. We started with a live stream summit, and this was all live streamed on the internet. In fact, all of my big list building ventures have been through live streaming. It has been the single largest attractor of people to my list, with number 2 being YouTube. So the number 1 way that I get people to sign up to my list is with live streaming offers. Number 2 is my YouTube pre-recorded video. So I'd love to hear from you. Have you started building your email list? Why or why not? And then as you guys are populating those questions, we are going to begin our show. So if you're ready to jump into the content today, say yeah in the comment section right now. I want to start with energy and fire today, okay? And we're going to talk about this very, very important topic of building your email list. So what I'm going to do is I am going to go through this content here today, and I want to get through it, and then I want to get to your questions, and then kind of end the show with some cool Q&A stuff. So I would love for you all to ask me your questions, or even questions that you think someone would ask. I think that would be legit. So even if it's a question that you know the answer to, maybe ask it anyway for someone else's benefit. If you guys are into that, think of some really good questions. Carlos, you ready? Carlos is ready. We're going to jump into our show in 3, 2. Today, we're going to be talking about how to build an email list. And this is one of the most important marketing opportunities or exercises that you should know, regardless of any business that you're in. You need to know how to build an email list, and it should constantly be being built, and it should be constantly be being engaged. In fact, a good, healthy email list is going to be more effective for you long-term than your Facebook ads, than your YouTube ads, or any of those things. In fact, YouTube ads and Facebook ads can put more people on your list that you can then market to. And through the next few episodes on the Business of Live Video podcast, we're going to be talking about different strategies like building a list, like engaging a list. So please be sure to let us know which topics you would be most interested in using. As always, we record these episodes and we really try to write down, some of the best takeaways. And if you want to get those notes, if you want to get also our live video checklist and our gear guide with like how to get started with live streaming, then all you have to do is go to owenvideo.com/checklist at any time, and we'll get you that checklist. Plus, you'll be on our email list, and it's sort of meta, isn't it? That I'm like trying to get you on my email list at the same time that I'm teaching you about how to do an email list, because we practice what we preach here, ladies and gentlemen. So ask your questions in the comment section. I want to start with sort of like the first half of this process, because the first half is highly technical. But if you don't get it right, or if you try to cheat your way through the system with only using free softwares, or only using the software that you bought on AppSumo because it was free, and it's no knock on AppSumo. Obviously, I love shopping there, but sometimes you ought to give up a tool because it's free. Like, you use it because it's free, when there's better tools out there that can get you more results a little bit quicklier. Okay. So if you want, I'm going to show you what got us better results. And I'm not really going to go through the rigmarole of like, oh, this one's free and that one's free. Because we actually do recommend some paid software. But the very first thing you need is you need email software. Okay. And email software is critical for gathering people's names and gathering people's emails. What do I mean by that? Like, when someone goes to a web page, it's called a landing page. They type and say, hey, give me your name and email to join my newsletter, or give me your name and email if you want my recipe book, or whatever that's done. In fact, what was the last free offer that you signed up for in your own life? Maybe you're scrolling through Instagram. You saw a great like templates package. I think the last thing I got was like a gardening. I'm way into gardening, by the way. So stop. If you're snickering at me, stop snickering. I make things grow, ladies and gentlemen. So Joe Eves is coming in and Type 1 Talks. It's good to have you here. Okay. So your email software is going to help you gather everyone's name and email and put them in a database where you can access them on the fly, right? And it's not a pain in the butt. But the email software will actually provide you with a landing page as well. Usually they call it a form. And you can create a form in your email software that will have a link attached to it. You copy that link and you send people to that link. They'll go to this form, they put in their name and email, and boom, they're on your email software list where now you can email them. Okay, so you can do this with Google Forms. It's one of those free methods. You could do this with like Jot Forms. But again, I wouldn't recommend it. You need to get an email-specific software. Now, there's a lot of different options for your software. You could get software anywhere. If you want to know what we use, then go to owenvideo.com/email. It's actually not a free offer. It'll just take you right to our email software. And then you can see what we use. Otherwise, fine. Don't use Google Forms, guys. Okay? Don't use a free software. You need to use an email software. And here's why. Because in step 2, can you guys hear my chair squeaking? Is that awkward? It's awkward for me. It's so loud. It's so loud. Step 2 is you need to create an offer. Okay? So I just mentioned a little bit earlier that an offer might be something like join my newsletter list, right? Or it could be something like if you want to get my free recipe guide, okay? This is an offer. And you need to create an offer that does a couple of things for you. Number one, it should be easy to create. Don't get stuck in the rigmarole of like, oh, I need to create this phenomenal ebook. Here's what people do, and maybe you guys can relate. When they download a free guide, I go to the free guides that I get and I flip through it and I go, is there any value here? Right? Maybe it's a recipe guide. Maybe it's a gardening guide, how to grow radishes or whatever, or the top vegetables to grow in springtime. And you go through it and you look at it. Is it easy to read? How many of you have ever opened up a PDF and it's like an encyclopedia entry and it's just text after text after text? That might be good in like an investment prospectus. But like if you're Let's Talk Stroke, okay, good to see you here. If you're Let's Talk Stroke, then your free guide might be, 10 ways to recover from stroke, 10 all natural ways to recover from a serious stroke. Okay, because this is what Jerry does over at Let's Talk Stroke. When you do that, you want to have like maybe 2 points on a page or maybe 1 point on like point 1, and it's the whole page and it's large font, lot of pictures. So people can flip through it really quickly, but it should also have value. Okay, so let me show you guys some examples of the offers that we've created over the past. Now, what you're looking at are samples of books, ebooks that we've created. All of these are really simple, like 10-page ebook where Jeff Rubenstein is logging in saying he was just covering this with my wife on the advanced program. Yeah, this is what we do. Now, these are all for the same basic offer, but we're split testing different ebook covers, okay? So these are like 10-page ebooks where the first page is a table of contents. The second page is about us. It's like a bio, just my bio page. And then there's, page 1, page 2, page 3, and they're all like, it's largely graphic based, okay? So you can flip through it, get value, and sort of, move on with your life. So you create an offer, okay, that can deliver quick value, like an ebook or a PDF. And I really don't recommend video, okay? I really don't recommend doing a video series because it takes time from the viewer. Like what happens is they go, oh, it's a video series. I'll watch this later. And then they never end up watching it, okay? And now when you're sending them follow-up emails and trying to move them into a course or into a program of some kind, they haven't been properly nurtured. And so the key is to get them into your ebook, okay, where they can flip through your content and develop that brand recognition. Oh, this is Jerry the stroke guy, right? This is a Jeff the real estate guy or whatever the case might be, okay? Now, you could give away templates. And I love this. If you're a salesperson, if you're a sales coach, maybe give away your, 3 Facebook Messenger statements or 3 Facebook Messenger templates I use to start new conversations. I think that something like that would do really well. You should make your ebook in like an afternoon. I made an ebook for my new YouTube channel called Top Alexa Automations, and I took screenshots of the Alexa app and just put those on a Word document, and that one's doing phenomenally well. Okay, so try to create, I turned Alexa on. Try to create an ebook out of something that you already have, okay? Now what you're going to do is you're going to blend the 2 things together, okay? You've set up the email software, and now you've set up this offer. And so now it's not just like, hey, join my list, right? It's not just like sign up for my newsletter, because who wants to be on another newsletter? I don't think newsletters have worked since 2013. I'm not sure. I don't have the data on that, but I'm pretty sure that it's newsletter is not as chunky as an offer as like a top 10 guide or 7 ways to do this. Now, once they put their name and email into the form, your email software will automatically send them an autoresponder. Okay. So you have to set up your autoresponder. And this is, I know it sounds simple, it's where a lot of people screw up, is you use Google Form to gather names and emails. Someone puts in their name and email and then nothing happens, because you need to have a software that sends that out. Okay. So you set up your autoresponder email, and your autoresponder email should be something very, very simple, like, thank you for downloading my blah, blah, blah guide. Here's that guide below. Boom, a picture of it, not a link, a picture of it. That visual cue. Hey, that just saw, here it is again. I recently downloaded an ebook from, I think it was a cancer cooking channel. For those of you guys that don't know, I am actively defeating cancer. And you can follow that journey at beatcancerwithme.com. But don't I look good? Don't I look healthy? I'm not fishing for compliments here. Maybe a little, but I do. I'm beating cancer every day. And I got this ebook. And then when I went to open the email, it was like, one of your ebooks is here below. It is very confusing and I don't like it. So just send them a picture. The thing you saw on the page, the form, is that's the thing I'm giving you right now. And then after that, you let them know you're going to be staying in touch with them on topics related to stroke or real estate or whatever the case might be, okay? You let them know you're going to continue sending emails in that autoresponder, okay? And now what you want to do is you want to promote your offer, okay? But there's a problem. You've created this form in your email software. It's this big ugly link, emailsoftware.com/4352, right? You can't just go, hey, everybody, go pick up my free guide over at, domain.com/12345. People are going to be like, what? I have no idea what you're talking about. So what you need to do is follow this very, very important step, and that is you need to get a link shortener. Now, I use a free company called Rebrandly.com, and what Rebrandly does is it takes your crazylink.com / that no one will remember this 00917. It takes your big ugly link and it shortens it for you into yourdomain.com/guide. Now there's, or yourdomain.com/stroke or whatever, a shortened link. So you can say, hey, everybody, if you want to check out our guide, remember you can go to owenvideo.com/checklist. owenvideo.com/checklist. And you guys will notice that when you go to that webpage, it will show you the big, fat, ugly link. But this is the value of Rebrandly. So you want to get a link shortener and create these memorable, these short, choppy little links, or link, I should say, for your autoresponder. Okay, so now that you have this catchy shortened link, now we're going to start promoting it. But we are getting a question live that I think is important to answer right now. My good friend Ed is asking, why don't you like Bitly? Okay, Bitly is another free, well-known link shortening software. It's an app that you can go to on your desktop. There's an app for your mobile phone. And Bitly has carried us through the early times of our business. I have nothing but mad respect for Bitly. Here's the problem. Bitly has been sort of abused by internet marketers. And what happens is when our audience sees a Bitly link, they tend to think, we think it's a great tool, but they think of it as spam, or they remember an email that had a link and then their computer had a virus for 3 months. And this is a real thing. I'm not joking around at all. Bitly has sort of a poor view in the eye of the internet consumer, not because Bitly's a bad company, but because the internet marketing companies, like they hide their scammy links in Bitly. So the number one reason that I use Rebrandly is because I can use my own domain. You can go buy a domain right now that doesn't have Bitly in it or Rebrandly in it. It's not rebrandly.com/Ed Weinberg, right? It's going to be like edsvault.com, right? Or edsfreeguides.com/investing guide, /single family home guide, whatever the case might be. Ed is in real estate. So with Rebrandly, you set up a free account. You need to buy a domain name. Go buy a domain name for $10 over at Namecheap, and then it automatically sets it up for you. It's very, very easy to use, and for like $4 a month, you can do even more with it. So there's a lot of reasons that I like Rebrandly, and I want you guys to sort of start moving away from Bitly, not because Bitly's bad at all. Bitly's a great company, but because we want to move forward with the marketplace. Okay, so now that you've got this great catchy link, now you need to build it into your show. This is literally the process of creating a show that's designed to generate you some leads. Okay. There are 4 big places that you can build this into your show, and I want to talk about those right now. The first is the first 10 seconds of your show. Now, why do we do that? This is all entirely for the replay viewer. This is entirely for the replay viewer. Because when you go live, whether it's a summit or a webinar, or if it's a regular recurring show, you want to be able to start your show for the replay viewer. Now, I know a lot of my colleagues will do countdowns and stuff. I don't like to do countdowns because you might get 30 people watching you, right? We've got 33 here. It's so good to see you guys. We got 33 people here, but by the time this video's done, we'll have something like 200, 300 views on it, which means more people are watching the replay than are watching the live stream. So that first 10 seconds, your live viewers won't even see that, because your live viewers won't join you, for about 3 to 5 minutes, maybe 10 minutes before your show begins. So that first introduction should really be highly tailored for the replay viewers. Now, if you're watching this on the replay right now, type replay for me so I know that you've made it this far. That's why in the beginning of our show, we say, hey, oops, wrong one. In the beginning of our show, I'll say, hey, skip ahead to the first 10 minutes. Because when I say that, most of you guys aren't here, right? Only the replay viewers will see that. Similarly, I go right into our Restream promotion in the beginning, and I continue to promote Restream throughout the show, but I do it in the beginning for the benefit of the replay viewer. Okay, so you want to build it into your show. It looks something like this. Let's take a cozy home. A cozy home has left the greatest comment in 2021. Oh, it's the laugh track. Darn it. I'm off today, folks. I'm trying to find. There it is. There it is, right there. Cozy Home is saying you look great, Owen. I appreciate that. So let's use you as an example here. Let's say that you're building a show, and I'm just going to assume that you're a show about homes and lifestyles. You might say something like, hey, everybody, it's me, A Cozy Home. Welcome to the show today. We're going to talk about XYZ topic and reaffirm that they're in the right place because they did click on the video. And I want to remind you that you can download my free Cozy Home Guide at cozyhome.com/PDF. And when you do, you'll get a great looking ebook that has blah, blah, and blah, nice little family home designs, things for you to look at for the fall. So I hope that you'll take the time and do. We're so glad you're here. And on today's show, Okay. So it's very, very simple and it's very, very short, but you get it in the first 10 seconds or so. Okay. 10 seconds is not a science, guys. It's just up front in the beginning of your show. Okay. So the next place to promote your live stream show is in between segments of your show. Now, if you're not doing a show in segments, that's one of your first issues. Okay. Your live show should be built into, segments where you're kind of moving from one segment to another. Like we do a giveaway and then we do some other things that we actually normally we have a streamer of the week, but today we decided to cut that because we were short on time. So then we'll move to our talking to the audience segment, and then we move into our meet. In between those segments is a great place for you to promote your ebook, and you do it with simple statements. Simple statements like, now we're about to move on to point 2, but before we do that, I want to let you know that you can download our free guide at .com. Now, here's the thing I'm going to say about this. Is that when you say this in between segments, I suggest creating a PowerPoint slide that you can read if you're reading notes or put it in your notes, however you're doing your show, and actually read it like an ad. I recommend that. And you guys see me in the beginning of this show, I read stuff like an ad. You know why? The way I get it right every single time, and I can put my creativity into the content of the show. And so the show is more interesting. The show is better, I hope. So that when I ask my audience to engage, they will engage because that respect has been built. So I want to encourage you to actually write something out in between segments that says something like, now we're going to move to section 2, but before we do, I want to invite you to download my free guide called the Reach Your Peak Guide to Mountain Climbing, or whatever the case might have been. Okay. Gadget Gecko, I see your question, and I see other questions coming in. Guys, ask them. We're going to get to them in just a New York minute. So between segments is a great place to promote your free guide. Where else? 2, you could promote it at the end of your show. And I think that you guys don't think, I think a lot of people don't think about this a lot. I want to say you guys are watching me live. You're watching me on a replay. You're bomb. You're live stream fam. Shout out to my Alaska POA. But here's the deal. You've probably still got your peak viewership watching at the end of your live stream. How many of you, when you go live, there are still people watching? Raise your hand. Put yes in the comment section, something like that. When you're watching at the end, there are still people there, and there are probably people that didn't catch the beginning of your show. So they didn't catch it at the beginning. They didn't catch it in between segments. And so by promoting your ebook offer at the end, or your lead magnet offer at the end, okay, you're grabbing those latecomers to your party. And hopefully picking off, one or two, picking off like a raptor, 1 or 2 of them. Now, something I should say about this, this is how you build an email list on a daily freaking basis. Okay. And I think that's really important to notice. Look at this segment I'm doing. It's like, look at the second camera segment. This is called like email marketing health. Now, we email marketing experts over here. It's not something that we teach publicly because we're video marketing, live streaming people, but email marketing is a core part of our business. And you've got to build your email list in like these 2 different ways. Number 1 is you need to have like dedicated promotions that are list building promotions. Facebook ads, do summits. What's a summit? You like get 10 people, you interview 10 people, you have all of them share it out, share a link out, and you're kind of like list swapping with 10 other people. That's a basic idea of a summit. You could also do webinars. Okay, do webinars. And you could also do, we talk about YouTube ads. YouTube ads are a great way to generate leads, okay? But these are sort of like finite events that you can make a push, perhaps invest a certain chunk of time or time of money, and then gauge that time against your experience. So you go, okay, we're going to put $300 into Facebook ads and see how big it grows our list. Or you say, we're going to do 10 YouTube videos. No, I take that back. That's more of a daily health, a hygiene thing. We're going to do a summit with 10 thought leaders and that email their list. So it doesn't count if they won't email their list, but 10 people who email their list. And we're going to see how big our list grows from that. Okay. But that's a big thing to think about. Okay. These like big promotions, finite promotions to grow your list. You're trying to add like 300 people at a time or like 1,000 people at a time. That's the goal there. But you should also have good email hygiene. And that means that you're generating emails every single day. Okay. How are you doing that? By live stream shows, by YouTube videos, by making posts on Twitter here and there, by gating some of the content on your website, like have great content on your website, make it free, but it's gated. They have to put in a name and email in order to get it. Okay. So think about those two things while you're growing your email list, because if you're doing a live stream show that's designed to get like 2 or 3, you might be getting, let's just say 5 to 10 leads per show. I would say 5 is a little bit more average, but for some of you guys, it's going to be like 1 to 3 new leads a show. But if you so you might think, oh my gosh, Owen, you're telling me to do all of this for 1 to 3 leads. No, I'm showing you how to grow your business, how to learn, how to master the art of internet marketing. So you never have to think about growing your business again. It just naturally pours out of your activities. Okay. 1 to 3 leads a show times 30 days. That can add up pretty quickly, and you don't need a huge list to do a webinar. You don't need a huge list to do a launch. You just need a qualified list. In fact, smaller lists are actually a lot more effective depending on what you're doing. So at the end of your show, don't forget to say, hey, everybody, go download my free guide. You guys will see that at the end of our show. Now, the last place that you want to build this into your show is when it's convenient. When it's convenient, meaning if you have a free guide that talks about radish recipes and you're doing your live stream show and you start talking about radishes, well, hey, that might be a good place to mention your free guide, So there's going to be times inside of your live stream show where it's very natural to say, oh, and by the way, if you want to get my checklist, I'll tell you, for example, it felt awkward for me in the beginning of this show. It felt like it didn't flow when I did the first checklist thing. Maybe you didn't notice it. Maybe you did. My point is this, that I should have either written it out better or I should have waited for another time when it's a little bit convenient to talk about the checklist. Okay. So look for a time in your show when you're doing your show prep where it's like, this would be a good time to promote our free offer. Now, before you do any of this, okay, before you do any of this, you have to consider this. You can't do all of these every time, all the time. Okay. You can't do all of these every time, all the time. Your audience is going to get sick of it. They're going to get sick of it. Okay. And so this will happen at first. Like I say, trust your gut. Like you'll feel it when you start to feel a little pushy. They're kind of feeling you as pushy. And so that's something that you should definitely be thinking about is the live viewers experience. Okay. If they're turned off by your free offer or by you over promoting it, then they may not want to stick around. Okay. So we're just about done with our presentation today. I've got one more big bonus point that I want to go over with you today, but tell me right now, what's been your biggest takeaway so far? What's been the biggest thing that you heard today that was like, oh, that's really helpful? I would love to hear from you in the chat area down below. And while you're doing that, I want to go through one more big major tip, okay? Because there's so many different ways that you can build your email list with live streaming. But here's one that's really been beneficial for me on Facebook Live. Now, Facebook Live for many of you is going to be your primary core source of live streaming, but I highly recommend that you multicast onto YouTube. Okay, YouTube is the future. YouTube is more like Netflix than it is like Facebook. If you don't get on YouTube and dual cast, it doesn't matter that nobody's going to watch you on YouTube at first, unless you're Jeff Rubenstein, who is rocking YouTube as part of my program, or Kathy Fitt, who is rocking YouTube Live as part of my program. Most of you are going to start very small, but you want to have a collection of videos that you can link back out to in your email marketing, which is why you're building a list in the first place. Okay? So let's talk about this Facebook Live strategy right now. What I want you to try doing in your show is asking people to comment if they want your free guide. So ask them to comment. Say something like, here's a good example. Say, type training in the comment section below if you want to receive my free training. Now, why do we do that? Because then what you do after the show is you go through the comments of your live stream and look at what's down there. It's this little reply button where you can reply directly to the people that watched your show. Now, when you click that, you can send them the link to your free guide. Now, I do not recommend just going like link, like paste, 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 paste. I would recommend creating like a nice conversation around this, right? Like, hey, like if it was in this case, it's Eddie. Hey, Eddie, like, thanks for requesting my free guide. Really love that you're taking action. And then boom, post the link right here. Now, this takes a little bit more work, but what it does is it drives viewers back. It drives the viewers back to the live stream to watch the video and to get more watch time on the video. So it creates added engagement in your Facebook feed, and Facebook recognizes that these people not just watch your stuff, they come back to your stuff. Okay, that's a big one. Now, the other part of that is that when you build a strategy like this, you're also increasing the potential of them leaving a comment back to you. And this creates massive engagement on your page, which is really what's going to trigger the algorithm long term. So I hope you guys enjoyed that presentation today on how to build your email list with live streaming. And I want to remind you that you can get my live stream video checklist and my gear guide where we outline all the steps and the equipment and the gear that you need, whether you're starting a basic operation or you're going advanced. We even have floor plans that you can look at that will really help you to organize your cameras, your cords, and everything. And you can get that at owenvideo.com/checklist. But right now, what I want to do is I want to come back over to you and answer some of your questions or chat with you about building an email list, about Restream, or about anything else that you want to talk about. And we'll talk about Gadget Gecko first. I got a question who is asking, I never understood where these offers and landing pages live. I assumed it was within my website. Yeah, that's a great question. So, you know, or a great observation, I should say. And the reality is that this is sort of like a basic or not decimated. Like, everyone knows about this now. You know what I mean? Like everyone does landing pages now. So it's technically called a landing page. That's what people call it. And they land there, right, from a link or whatever. And it has one purpose. The landing page is to capture a name and an email. Okay, that's what a landing page does. You can build a landing page in your WordPress website. You can build it in your Weebly website. These email marketing softwares, most of them have forms that you can, which are basically landing pages. You know, they send people directly to a page. Now on the forms, you typically can't do as much. You can't make them look sharp, but what we're finding, we've been building landing pages since the beginning. And what we're finding is less design works better. Like less finesse is best. Ooh, less finesse is best. I like that. So we'll go with that. Just make it simple and tell people what it is. Now, in the early days of internet marketing, you really couldn't do this without optimized press, without ClickFunnels, without drop funnels, and so all of these softwares came up. They're still there. We still use them, but you can make a landing page basically anywhere now. And that's something that a lot of people do. Okay. So let's see. Carlos, do we have more questions? I see one right here. A Cozy Home is asking for a new channel, with only 10 videos. So I have no money. Or at least to invest in here. Who should I use that it's not complicated with to set up for free? Mailchimp. Go to Mailchimp. And here's the thing is that I'm not like pro or anti Mailchimp. It's a very basic, well-known starter free software that everybody connects to. Okay. Or go to owenvideo.com/getresponse. GetResponse is another fantastic. I don't think they're free anymore. They might have a free trial. Okay. They might have a free, or maybe your first 1,000 people are for free. But I would say to go to one of those two and then, use them until you need to pay for something. I mean, you might fall in love with these companies. I'm in love with the company that I use. And I use a company called Active Campaign. I just want to be careful that I'm not like promoting any one over the other, because that's not what I'm here to do today. I love my internet marketing, my email marketing software. And we moved away from some of these others to use this one. And so I'm really happy with that. But it does cost money, and that's a competitive advantage, I think, for some of us. But I would go to those two free level softwares and just use them until they're all burnt out. And you can connect Zapier to them. You can connect your Gmail to them. There's a lot that you can do. And so it's helpful to use sort of like a big name there. So I hope that's helpful for you. Krister Bovin is logging in. Cozy Home is saying, my takeaway was the actual process of setting up an email, as I was so confused. Now I understand. I'm really glad that you said that, because, as a coach, I know where people struggle, but I also know what types of headlines will cause people to come into my live stream show. And so you're like, do I do like this inflammatory title that'll bring people in, or do I really teach the nuts and bolts that's going to help someone get to the next level? So I want you to be using Restream to get people into your email list. And the best way to do that is understanding the process. Okay. The best way to do this is understanding the process. And with Restream, we can add all sorts of graphics. Carlos, put up a link graphic if you don't mind. Okay. Put up a link graphic. And with Restream, we can put our links on the screen, but we can paste them in the chat where anybody on any platform watching can click on them. So Restream is an invaluable tool in growing our email list and growing your email list. Stephen Dale, logging in, newest member of the Video Marketing School. Super pumped that you're here. Cozy Home is saying, I was told ConvertKit. ConvertKit's great. Is there a free path? I'm not sure, but I think I've shared the recommend. My problem with ConvertKit is complicated. It's, if you're just brand new getting started, I think that ConvertKit's going to offer you way more than what you need right now. Like, you need to set up a form and one autoresponder email. That's all you need right now. Okay. Greg Zotic is probably what it is. Greg Zotic sounds better. Greg Zotic says, I like the segments idea. Bro, segments will make your show so easy, because now instead of like, what am I going to talk about for a half an hour? Then it's more like, oh, I'm talking about this, this, and this, and it makes it a little bit easier. Let's see. Let's Talk Stroke is saying, I like the free guide that I haven't used. The biggest problem with marketers, guys, is not creating new content. It's getting people to the content you've already created. And that's where the email marketing list comes into such a great play. Here's an example of what it looks like to post a link inside of Restream. But for those of you in the comment area, you're actually able to click that. Okay. Let's see. My C Prince, my man. Good to see you. Saying, hi, Owen. I've responded to a couple of email marketing forms done by YouTube educational channels, and they ended up emailing me every day for weeks. They are now automatically directed to spam. Okay, great observation. Let's dig into that a little bit. I agree with you. I'll tell you this. There are some emails. I get emails from some people every day, and I don't unsubscribe. Because as a student of marketing, as someone who's marketing my own company, I like to look at their subject lines and their pre-headers and like what softwares they're using. So all that stuff. So I'm interested in that. Okay. But there's also people that send me emails every day that I don't want to hear from. So there's a little back and forth. And my overall overriding sort of comment is that developing an email list has nothing to do with spamming someone every single day or emailing them every single day. In fact, it's incredibly hard to maintain. Incredibly hard to maintain. You got to have all those emails written. Scheduling an email takes time, you know. So email marketing is about, or list building is about building a list, not necessarily engaging that list. That's email marketing. Okay. Now, the other part of that is that some of you should probably email every day in some cases. There are some audience members that are going to want that. For example, if your guide is like a 10-day guide to weight loss, then it might be good to email them every single day for 10 days to get that initial engagement. Again, this goes into email marketing. And what's your strategy for that particular ebook guide? Now, in the beginning, I recommend that you do one email that's just like, hey, here's your guide. And then after that, I would approach them with a weekly email. That's like, here's the videos I made this week. Here's the products that I am suggesting this week. Whatever the case might be, you could write it on Friday, send it out on Saturday. You have all the options in the world available to you. You never have to do what someone else is doing. Okay, so I would look at what the offer is and what your goal is with the audience, and build your autoresponder campaigns thusly. But up front, let's just keep it at email. Here's one thing I do know. I want everyone to hear me on this. Here's one thing. If you didn't stick around for this, you missed out. The more often you email someone, the less likely they are to unsubscribe. Okay. Why is that? Oh, they email me every day. I'm annoyed. I'm unsubscribing. Maybe, but you're all content creators. You don't count. Okay. Because you all have customers and audience you're trying to reach. Largely, they're not content creators. Okay. So you can't say I would do this, therefore, John Q. Taxpayer would do that. No way. It's different. But here's what happens when you only email someone once a month, or you only email your list a little bit because you don't want to get unsubscribes. You end up getting massive unsubscribes because the audience forgot who you were. My C Prince, who? What? Delete. I said, oh yeah. Like, that's the guy I got that free guide from. Like, they're not going to go through that. Who is this? Spam, whatever the case might be. So in the beginning, when you're building your email list, just focus on building the email list. Not so much like these aggressive emails going out. Instead, really focus on just getting people on the email list. My good friend Dale L. Roberts, logging in. Great to see you, my man. What else do we have going on today? I know Kathy Fit is trying to ask a question, but it is not showing up. Perhaps she's using profanity. Is that what it is? Is that what it is, Kathy Fit? Well, I would love to know your question, Kathy. I'm trying to look at some of these things and I can't see what it was. My good friend, I was trying to say hi to Nancy, but Nancy's out there. And A Cozy Home has been logging in Ray Funk is in the house. Ray Funk, it is good to see you. And there's my friend Nancy logging in. Okay. Well, look, that is our presentation today. So I hope you enjoyed this segment of the business of live video as we discuss. I'm trying to get rid of these. I'm going crazy here as we discuss how to build your email list with live stream. My name is Owen Video. It's a pleasure to see you here today. And don't forget to join us next week for another fantastic episode of the Business of Live Video. I'm Owen. I'll see you guys next time.